Hello, and welcome to Group 7's international entry plan to Saudi Arabia, the medical technology company Compumedics. Compumedics is a global leader in the development, manufacture and commercialization of diagnostic technologies for sleep, brain and ultrasonic blood flow monitoring devices. Founded in 1987 with a vision to set innovative and technological standards in monitoring products, it achieved an Australia Stock Exchange listing in the year 2000. Since its inception, Compumedics has forged a presence in North America, France, Germany and China, with its headquarters remaining in Australia. As we can see in this slide, the largest revenue generating regions are the USA and Asia, with their sleep monitoring products selling the greatest volumes, the majority of which are sold through a network of international distributors. By 2023, this sector of the market is expected to be worth up to $8.8 billion. The image on this slide shows the source of current market revenues. Few people know the severity of the implications of sleep apnea, OSA, yet as is highlighted by this slide, many people with the condition also suffer from heightened risk of heart disease, diabetes and atrial fibrillation amongst other complications. As an industry, OSA is partway through the growth phase in the developing world. Yet, in the Middle East and North Africa, the growth phase is just beginning, which is why we see an opportunity for Compumedics to enter this market. Medical equipment isn't particularly sensitive to national norms, meaning there is a significant degree of global standardization within Compumedics products, with room for some local adaptation. They have a competitive advantage as seen by their growth in China, and this can be easily transferred to other regions. Compumedics' strategy for growth is not only to increase the sales force in Europe and North America, but to find new opportunities in the Middle East and North Africa in order to hit management targets of 100 million global sales by 2020. Our plan to expand into the Middle East fits well with the company's Go Forward mission to expand its sales 2 to 3-fold and increase its dedicated distributor network in Europe and Asia from 50 to 70 by 2020. They are looking to leverage off their market-leading technologies and established patent portfolio to penetrate new markets. A key strength for Compumedics is its adaptability in entering a market. It operates a federalist model with a uniform management system, global set of standards, and limited local autonomy. They would be equally comfortable entering through a joint venture, sole entry, or a strategic alliance. As mentioned, Compumedics has footholds in 4 different geographical locations. Their global buying team for all locations worldwide gives them stronger bargaining power and greater consistency in the quality of their medical system components. Further, by adopting Global Account Management, or GAM, Compumedics' Middle Eastern office will benefit from a GAM strengths, such as coordination, local politics, understanding of the overall company structure, and also from direct access to senior management within the organisation for any ad hoc need. This slide shows the internal steps Compumedics should make in formulating an entry plan. These are: align internal capabilities, identify a target market of significant size and growth potential that is strategically important and a good fit, gain an understanding of the political, economic and technological environment, carry out risk and competition assessments along with consumer engagement, and finally, at implementation stage, develop partnerships, governance and management arrangements with associated organisational design, recruitment, training and business development plans. Compumedics can leverage their product portfolio in sleep diagnostics within Middle East and North Africa to address an emerging and growing epidemic of obesity-related sleep apnea and other sleep-related breathing disorders. Having considered the potential opportunities within the Middle East and North Africa, Group 7 has selected the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as its entry point. In doing so, Compumedics can leverage off its capabilities, corporate flexibility, and the growth phase of the region. There is a strong rationale for choosing Saudi Arabia, namely that the Saudi Arabian government has been promoting the transfer of foreign expertise and technology in order to diversify its economic sectors, including healthcare. Saudi Arabia is economically stable with well-regulated financial institutions. It provides the largest market in the Gulf region, and finally, it is experiencing a significant growth phase in this sector. Saudi Arabia sits in the African Islamic culture mapping. Modern-day Saudi Arabia is a traditional and highly conservative society, fundamentally based on strong religious values, beliefs, and customs to which it is expected that visitors and businesses should respect and adhere. Based on available data, it appears that sleep disorders are prevalent among Saudi Arabians, and the demand for sleep medicine service is expected to rise significantly in the near future. A risk assessment of Saudi Arabia shows that the highest risk area for investment is politics. While it is a stable monarchy, its proximity to less stable Arab states could lead to its involvement in conflict. The company has no control over this, however, there is a vast improvement on the situation from 10 years ago. Saudi Arabia has a population of 32 million and approximately 1/3 are obese. 1 in 2 among these individuals will experience sleep disorders that, if undiagnosed, will increase risk for cardiovascular morbidity and mortality. Though obesity is a recognised public health issue in Saudi Arabia, the diagnosis of sleep-related disorders and its consequence on economic productivity is not well understood. There are location-specific advantages for CompuMedics that arise from having an innovative and specialised technology that has great potential for sustained demand in the health sector. The Vision 2030 ambitions of the Saudi government needs to encourage and foster precisely this kind of multinational company if it wants to attain good quality of life, strengthened health system, and a thriving economy for its residents. The cumulative need for diagnosis, regular monitoring, and follow-up treatment efficacy suggests a significant demand for CompuMedics devices within Saudi Arabia's health system. This publicly funded health system is comprised of nearly 2,000 primary healthcare centres and 220 hospitals, which will all benefit from these diagnostic aids for managing a growing clinical demand for such devices among the patient population. Market entry to Saudi Arabia requires compliance with many national and local requirements. Some of these, such as quotas for employing Saudi nationals, create challenges, such as skilled labour shortages. Penalties for failure to comply are severe, and gaining approval to operate within Saudi Arabia involves many steps that will necessitate careful consideration of the best entry model. This slide shows where Saudi Arabia is ranked with regards to difficulty of starting and doing business, but this is offset by the opportunities arising from high levels of GDP, plans to diversify the economy, and a government that is investing in human and physical capital. Politically, Saudi Arabia is a stable monarchy, which this year launched a vision to 2030 that should improve opportunities for international firms such as CompuMedics. Each of the 13 regions has some local autonomy, and the specific requirements of each will need to be considered as part of the implementation plan. Human rights issues are a concern to the international community, however, this can be an opportunity for the individual firm to bring about positive change. As part of its entry plan, CompuMedics will need to have regard for the power of government institutions and the organisations such as universities that can assist it to access the market. Furthermore, high annual taxes should be incorporated into any financial plans. A non-equity mode of entry is proposed in the first instance, covering exports and contractual agreements. There is a potential for first mover advantage for CompuMedics given their proprietary technological leadership in the field, proven growth in other healthcare markets, and opportunity to negotiate with a single national health ministry to create entry barriers for other late entrants. Conducting market research is a key component of market entry, but there are challenges associated with gathering data in Saudi Arabia, such as cultural restrictions leading to sample bias, a lack of secondary data compared to Western markets, and difficulty in retaining local interviewers. Compumedics depends on a network of international distributors to identify local customer needs and appropriate marketing strategies. It's these distributors who should perform the market research, using a template created by headquarters to ensure consistency and comparability against other regions. We believe Compumedics should adopt a multi-country marketing approach, whereby the core strategy is designed at headquarters and distributed to Saudi Arabia and other regions in the future. The local subsidiary will have the autonomy to adapt the strategy to ensure a good fit with the local culture. Compumedics adopted a different product name, Kangdi, in China to achieve acceptance of its products. However, as many Saudis are educated in Europe or the US, a product name in local dialect wouldn't be necessary. We imagine the current Compumedics branding will possess an adequate amount of customer relevance, along with competitive differentiation, allowing for a coherent global strategy. Saudi Arabia has a high degree of cultural homogeneity, allowing for subtle advertising, unlike that of the USA. The advertising approach needs to be compatible with religious standards and sensitive to cultural norms. Whilst there isn't a requirement for standardisation from association with Australian products, it is advisable in order to reduce costs and increase product quality. Compumedics should use the same copy strategy in its advertising, but not the exact same advert, owing to cultural differences. As can be seen by Compumedics' position in the matrix, a high level of global coordination is needed. However, there is little need for national differentiation, as is common with medical equipment. Research and manufacturing will continue to be predominantly carried out at headquarters and exported to the regions. International management processes should be implemented by the national subsidiary. Saudi Arabia will begin as an implementer of strategy devised at headquarters, but given the access to resources, it can become a contributor. There should be knowledge sharing amongst the national subsidiary account managers to help execute the global strategy and support the organisation structure. Due to the cultural gulf between headquarters and target market, we advise commencing with a geocentric human resources management practice, with a mix of parent, host and third-party nationals. We think this ought to evolve into a polycentric practice, as a local leader, with special consideration of their background, would be more appropriate. Local hires are not only beneficial to establishing a presence, but are enforced through regulation and financially supported by the government. Based on the research we have carried out, we believe Compumedics is well placed to expand and enter Saudi Arabia, thanks to its market-leading products, local demand for sleep apnea products, and crucially, support from the government through the Vision 2030. Many factors need to be handled sensitively, namely cultural differences, and this begins with hiring local employees and a mixture of headquarters and regional account managers and distributors. The fact that many Saudis have Western educations and speak English means there isn't a huge amount of marketing manipulation required from the approaches that have been used to enter regions previously. Appropriate market research in advance of entry, as seen in slide 19, should highlight the various risks to Compumedics entering a new market. Finally, the global market is growing for Compumedics products, and Saudi Arabia is a fantastic option for capturing some of that demand. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to hear our entry plan, and hope it has provided some interesting insights into how a business might enter Saudi Arabia.